Welcome back to the History of AI podcast.
Great to be back.
Ready for episode 2.
Let's do it.
Today we're tackling how AI thinks,
Oh, yeah.
which sounds super complex, but is actually pretty fascinating.
It is.
Before we get into it,
Yeah.
you sent us some really interesting articles
Right.
about machine learning.
Yeah.
I have to admit, before reading them,
Okay.
I pictured something way more sci-fi.
I think that's what everybody thinks.
I was picturing,
Yeah.
robot brains and all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But it's not really like that at all, is it?
it's not quite like what we humans do.
Right.
AI doesn't have emotions or
Right.
consciousness like we do.
It's not like there's a little robot brain in there
Exactly.
having existential thoughts.
Yeah.
So it's more about the processes
It's more about the processes.
that AI uses to learn,
You mean from data?
learn from data and make decisions.
Exact.
Okay, so let's break down this machine learning thing. You mentioned that it's all about
Yeah.
finding patterns in data.
Yeah.
What kind of data are we talking about?
Literally anything.
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 Like what? Give me some examples.
Numbers, text, images, sounds.
Oh, wow.
The AI takes this data
Uh-huh.
and uses it to learn how to make predictions
Okay.
or decisions.
So if I feed an AI a bunch of pictures
Yeah.
of cats and dogs,
Right?
it can learn to tell them apart.
Precisely.
That's so cool.
That's a classic example
Yeah.
of machine learning in action.
Okay.
The AI looks for patterns in the images,
Uh-huh.
like the shape of the ears
Okay.
or the texture of the fur,
Okay.
to distinguish between cats and dogs.
That makes sense.
Right.
But how does it actually learn?
Right.
Is there someone sitting there telling the AI,
Well,
this is a cat, this is a dog?
that's where the different types of machine learning come in.
Okay.
The articles you sent mentioned
Yes.
3 main types:
Oh, okay.
supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning.
Okay, let's start with supervised learning.
All right.
What's the supervision part all about?
In supervised learning,
Yeah.
you're essentially giving the AI a set of labeled data.
Okay.
It's like saying,
Oh.
here's a picture of a cat
Mm-hmm.
and here's a picture of a dog.
Yeah.
The AI then learns to associate those labels
Oh.
with the patterns it sees in the data.
Okay.
So it uses those to make its own judgments.
So it's like a teacher giving a student examples and helping them learn the rules.
Exactly.
So-
And this type of learning is used
Yeah.
in a lot of everyday applications.
Like what?
Think about spam filters.
Oh, yeah.
They're trained on labeled data
Ah.
to distinguish between spam and legitimate emails.
So that's how my inbox stays relatively clean.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Okay, so what about unsupervised learning?
Unsupervised learning is a bit more like a detective
Okay.
trying to solve a mystery. The AI is given data without any labels
Oh, wow.
and has to figure out the patterns
Okay.
and relationships on its own.
That sounds a lot harder.
It is more difficult.
Yeah.
How does it even know where to start?
Yeah.
It's a complex process.
Okay.
But essentially, the AI looks for similarities
Yeah.
and differences in the data
Okay.
and groups similar data points together.
Okay.
This is used in things like customer segmentation,
No.
where companies use AI
Okay.
to group customers with similar buying habits.
So unsupervised learning is about uncovering hidden structures and patterns,
Exactly.
while supervised learning is more about applying known rules to new data.
You got it.
Okay. Now, the third type,
Yeah.
reinforcement learning,
Uh-huh.
is a bit different.
Okay.
It's all about learning through trial and error.
This is the one that always reminds me of training a puppy.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
You give the AI rewards for good decisions
Uh-huh.
and penalties for bad ones
Okay.
over time.
Yeah. The AI learns which actions lead to the best outcomes.
So it's like playing a video game
That's a good way to put it.
and figuring out which strategies lead to success.
Yeah, and this type of learning is behind some pretty impressive AI achievements.
So like what?
Like beating world champions
Oh, wow.
at games like Go and chess.
That's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing how these systems can learn from experience,
Yeah.
just like we do.
Right.
Now, the articles also mentioned something called deep learning.
Yeah.
How does that fit into all of this?
Deep learning is a subset of machine learning,
Okay.
but it's where things start to get really interesting.
Okay.
It uses something called neural networks,
Okay.
which are inspired by the structure of the human brain.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Neural networks, those sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
They do have a futuristic ring to them,
Yeah.
but the concept is actually quite elegant.
Okay.
Imagine a network of interconnected nodes kind of like a web. Each node processes information and passes it along to other nodes.
So it's like a network of mini brains.
That's a good analogy.
All working together.
Yeah, the connections between these nodes have different strengths or weights, which determine how much influence each node has on the others.
And how do these weights get determined?
That's the beauty of deep learning.
Okay.
The network learns to adjust these weights automatically.
Oh, wow.
Based on the data it's given. It's like the network is constantly fine-tuning itself.
So the more data it's exposed to, the better it gets at making predictions.
Exactly. It's a process of continuous learning.
Wow.
And improvement.
Okay.
And what makes deep learning so powerful is that it can handle incredibly complex patterns and relationships in data.
This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because deep learning is behind some of the most impressive AI applications we see today, right?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Things like facial recognition, natural language processing, and even self-driving cars all rely on deep learning algorithms.
It's amazing to think that we can mimic the human brain's learning process.
It's pretty amazing.
In a computer.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious. About the challenges of deep learning.
Okay.
What are some of the hurdles?
Well, one of the big ones is data dependency. Deep learning models need massive amounts of data to train effectively. If the data is biased or incomplete, the AI's decisions can be flawed.
So it's not just about having a lot of data, but also about having good quality data.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And that's a constant challenge in the field. Another challenge is interpretability. Deep learning models can be incredibly complex, making it difficult to understand how they arrive at their decisions.
So it's like a black box.
Precisely.
We know what goes in and what comes out. But we don't necessarily know how it works inside. And this can be problematic. Particularly in situations where we need to understand,
like in healthcare or finance,
why an AI made a particular decision. That makes sense.
Researchers are working on ways to make deep learning more transparent and explainable.
Oh, okay. So they're working on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a crucial area of research. Because if we're going to trust AI to make important decisions, we need to be able to understand its reasoning.
This has been a fascinating look.
It has been.
Into the world of how AI thinks. It's clear that there's a lot more to it.
It's not magic.
Than just simple algorithms and data. It's a complex and evolving field with incredible potential.
Absolutely.
But also some important challenges to address.
Definitely.
Well, it sounds like we have plenty to discuss.
I think so.
In our next installment.
So
in part 2, we'll continue our deep dive into the world of AI.
Sounds good.
And explore some of these more advanced concepts.
I'm looking forward to it.
Stay tuned.
See you then. Welcome back.
Okay, so last time we left off talking about deep learning and neural networks.
How these networks learn and adapt.
It's really remarkable.
It is remarkable.
I was thinking about it afterward, and it still kind of blows my mind that we can essentially create artificial brains in a computer.
It is a testament to human ingenuity and our understanding of how our own brains work. But of course, these artificial networks are still far simpler than the complexity of the human brain.
Oh, for sure,
It's a simplified model.
Okay, so we talked about neural networks in general. But I know there are different types.
There are.
What are some of the key variations out there?
Well, one of the most common and influential type
is the convolutional neural network. Or CNN for short.
CNN.
They're especially good at processing images.
So this is how AI can recognize faces in photos or identify different objects in a scene.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
CNNs are designed to mimic the way our visual cortex processes information.
It's like they're mimicking us.
They'll break down an image into smaller pieces and analyze the features of each piece, like edges, shapes, and textures.
So it's like the AI is looking for the building blocks of an image.
That's a good analogy.
And then piecing them together to understand what it's seeing.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
As the information moves through the layers of the network, these features get combined into more and more complex representations, eventually allowing the AI to identify the overall image.
That's so cool. It's like the AI is learning to see the world.
In a way, yes.
The way we do.
But remember,
Yeah. It's still operating based on mathematical calculations
Right.
and patterns in the data.
it's not experiencing the world with emotions or
Exactly.
subjective interpretations like humans do.
Right.
But the fact that it can achieve such impressive results
It is amazing.
in image recognition
Yeah.
is a testament to the power of these algorithms.
Right.
But images are just one type of data.
Yeah.
What about language?
Right.
How does AI make sense of words and sentences?
That's where recurrent neural networks,
Okay.
or RNNs, come into play.
RNF?
They're designed to process sequential data
Uh-huh.
where the order of elements is important,
Okay.
like in language.
So that's why CNNs,
Yeah.
which focus on visual features,
Right.
wouldn't be as effective for language tasks.
Precisely.
Okay.
RNNs have a unique feature,
Ah.
a built-in memory,
Okay.
that allows them to keep track of previous inputs.
So it's like they can remember the words that came before
Exactly.
and use that context
Right.
to understand the meaning of the current word.
Exactly.
That makes a lot more sense now.
This is crucial for understanding language
Uh-huh.
because the meaning of a word can change
Right. Okay.
depending on the surrounding words.
So when I talk to a voice assistant,
Right.
like Alexa or Siri,
Yeah.
they're using RNNs to understand what I'm saying.
Most likely, yes.
Oh, wow.
RNNs are used extensively
Okay.
in natural language processing tasks
Uh-huh.
like speech recognition,
Yeah.
machine translation,
Mhm.
and text generation.
Wow. It's incredible to think about.
It is amazing what they're doing.
It feels like we're just scratching the surface
I think we are.
of what AI can do.
In many ways, AI is a rapidly evolving field.
Yeah.
New discoveries and applications are emerging all the time.
It's both exciting and a bit daunting, right?
It is, yeah.
It makes you wonder what the future holds.
Right.
And how AI will shape our world.
Yeah, it's important to remember
Yeah.
that AI is a tool,
Mhm.
and like any tool,
Right.
it can be used for good or for ill.
We've touched on some of the potential risks already,
Right.
like bias in data
Uh-huh.
and the lack of transparency in
Right.
deep learning models.
Those are important considerations.
Yeah.
But it's also crucial to recognize
So,
the immense potential benefits of AI.
like what?
Well, imagine a world
Yeah.
where AI can help us diagnose diseases
Oh, wow.
earlier and more accurately,
Yeah.
develop new life-saving drugs,
Uh-huh.
create personalized education plans for every student,
Wow.
and even combat climate change.
Those are some pretty compelling examples.
Yeah, they are.
It sounds like AI has the potential
I think it does.
to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges.
But it's up to us
Right.
to guide its development
Yeah.
and ensure that it's used ethically and responsibly.
It's a shared responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
Scientists, policymakers,
Yeah,
and everyday citizens all have a role to play
I think so.
in shaping the future of AI.
It's a conversation we need to be having actively and thoughtfully.
Yeah, I agree.
This has been an incredible journey
It really have.
into the world of how AI thinks.
Yeah, we've covered so much ground.
We have.
From machine learning basics
Yeah.
to the complexities of neural networks.
And we've just begun to scratch the surface. There's
Yeah.
so much more to explore, especially
sure.
when it comes to the practical applications of AI
Yeah.
and the implications for society.
Well, I'm definitely eager to dive deeper
Okay.
into those topics in part 3.
Sounds good.
We'll be back soon for the final installment
Okay.
of this deep dive into AI.
All right.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive
Yeah.
into how AI thinks.
It's been a journey.
It really has.
Yeah.
We've gone from the basics of machine learning
Yeah.
to exploring these incredible neural networks.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating.
And we've touched on some of the potential benefits
Yeah.
and challenges of this rapidly evolving technology.
Yeah.
I'm really curious
Yeah.
to dig deeper into the implications
Okay.
of AI for society.
Sure.
What are some of the areas?
Well, one area that's already seeing significant change
Right.
is healthcare.
Okay.
AI is being used to analyze medical images,
Okay.
diagnose diseases,
Uh,
and even develop personalized treatment plans.
it's amazing to think that AI could help doctors
It is.
make faster and more accurate diagnoses, potentially saving lives.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about diagnostics.
No, it's not.
AI is also being used to discover new drugs
That's right.
and therapies
Yep.
which could revolutionize how we treat a wide range of diseases.
Absolutely.
What about other fields?
Okay.
Where else are we seeing AI making a difference?
Another area where AI is poised to have a major impact is transportation.
Okay.
We're already seeing the rise of self-driving cars.
I've been hearing a lot about self-driving cars.
Yeah. Well,
it seems like the technology is advancing so rapidly.
It is, and it's just one example of how AI is transforming transportation.
Okay.
AI is also being used to optimize traffic flow.
Okay.
Improve logistics, and even develop new forms of transportation.
Like what?
Like flying cars.
Flying cars?
Uh-huh.
That sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
But I guess with AI?
Yeah.
The line between science fiction and reality is becoming increasingly blurred.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about healthcare and transportation. But what about other areas like education or finance?
Yeah.
How is AI changing those fields?
In education, AI is being used to create personalized learning experiences for students, tailoring lessons to their individual needs and learning styles.
That sounds like a game changer.
It could be a big one.
Especially for students who struggle in traditional classroom settings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just about personalized learning.
Right.
AI is also being used to automate administrative tasks.
Right.
Freeing up teachers to focus more on teaching.
That's the idea.
And what about finance?
Finance is a big one, too.
Yeah, I imagine AI is having a big impact there as well.
AI is being used to detect fraud, manage investments, and even provide financial advice.
So it's like having a super smart...
It's just having an expert in your pocket.
Financial advisor at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And it's not just for individuals.
No.
AI is also transforming the way financial institutions operate, making them more efficient and secure.
It is.
It's clear that AI is already having a profound impact on our world.
It is. It is.
And as the technology continues to evolve, it's only going to become
more integrated.
More integrated into our lives.
Yeah.
But as we embrace the potential of AI, it's crucial that we also address the ethical challenges it presents.
Right.
We've talked about some of those challenges already.
Wow.
Like bias in data. And the lack of transparency in deep learning models.
Right. And there are other important considerations as well.
Like what?
Like the potential for job displacement.
Oh, yeah.
And the need to ensure that AI is used for the benefit of humanity as a whole.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's an important conversation to have.
Absolutely.
We need to be proactive in shaping the future of AI.
Right.
Ensuring that it aligns with our values and serves the common good.
Absolutely. It's been a really interesting deep dive.
Yeah, I'm walking away with a much deeper appreciation.
Oh, good.
For the complexity and potential of this technology.
It is complex, but it's definitely got huge potential.
I'm ready to keep learning and exploring.
Me too.
And I'm sure our listeners are too.
I think they are.
Thank you for listening to the History of AI podcast. Stay tuned for more cutting-edge developments in the world of artificial intelligence.